Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our time together. I'm Lori Lamantia, and I'm here with the beautiful Trisha Fisk.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, everyone. So today we're going to talk about leadership, and we're going to talk about it from, and I'll just speak for myself, and I'll let Trisha talk about it from her perspective. But my experience lately, as we were deciding about talking about this, is really stepping into a new definition of leadership. I have an MBA from Northwestern, so I have all this old historic concept of leadership, but I'm really feeling into that leadership is asking to be redefined, and language is so important. And so, from my perspective today, we're going to really talk about leadership in a way that is hopefully giving you the permission to look at your definition of leadership and step into what you want it to be now and going forward. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is this idea of stepping into your leadership, that which you are and that which you define as how you want to walk in this world as a quote unquote leader. Because we're all leaders. We all are, people are watching us all the time and not worrying about that, but kind of more being more empowered around our sovereignty is what my evolving definition of leadership is. So I'm going to turn it over to Trisha and let her introduce the topic from her perspective.
Right. I recently went to a conference, Women in Leadership, and my dear friend who traveled with me has said several times to me that I'm a very reluctant leader.
Mm.
And it made me really start thinking about that. And I think, again, redefining is so important because I think I equated leadership with being responsible for everybody.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm, mhm.
and I don't
Sacrificing for the betterment of the humanity.
exa- exactly, and I don't want to be responsible for everybody.
Right.
Um,
Hey,
so
I need to just focus right here because this is a day-to-day job, right?
right. So I think the way I defined it made me want to avoid it.
Avoid it.
And
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
so I love the idea of redefining what that means. And again, I had a lovely experience this weekend getting back from that conference of a group of people who are going through yoga teacher training, and it was their turn to get up and teach, and they taught in groups like three and three and two, and we recorded it and then played it back for them to see. And um, it was just lovely. It was just lovely to see. So I guess one of the things I want to say from having done that was leadership is in this moment for me, giving people permission to step into who their idea of leading, right?
Right.
How do you
Yeah.
how do you want to lead, and what does that look like to you? And um, and I've heard teachers say this before, but I agree with it too. I'm a true leader if someone studying with me actually steps beyond what I can do and what I know and how I
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that leadership from that perspective, you're showing the way, you're a way shower, but and in my mind, like you said, I want to take
lead.
less responsibility for the outside and more, alignment to my inside, my integrity, because I was talking to I was praying this or meditating this morning, and it was like, the word magnificence kept coming up, stepping into
Oh,
your magnificence. And I'm like, ooh, juicy, ooh, can I, and I think that's, to me, what I would love for everyone is for them to step into their unique magnificence. And and like you said, however you define it, and me not taking responsibility for somebody else's magnificence, me saying, yes, oh, do it. And I love that you were
Right.
doing that over the weekend. Everybody, I'm sure, taught very differently, but very uniquely.
Right, right. It's to encouraging them to be yourself, be who you are, and then kind of taking that back to, and you too, Trisha.
Yeah, you too, Trisha. Right, right. It's not just all in, and that's an old unquestioned assumption too. Leadership is always about, the outside, what the outside perceives of you. Does Fortune magazine go, "Oh, you're leader of the year"? What crap, like I was taught way back. Sorry, Claire canceled late. It wasn't bull crap, but it's definitely evolving now into, I think, something where we all are participating in, and we're not giving our power away to some external leader, because that's what, a lot of times we do too. Oh, I'm not a leader. Just tell me what to do. Well, we're not going to get away with that anymore going forward. Everybody is being asked, I think, from a divine perspective, you are divine. And what does that look like to you? And you got to decide about that and choose about that. But that's leadership.
Right, that definitely is. And speaking your truth speaking your truth is leadership. What do
Oh,
you feel
right.
you and the other thing that becomes so obvious, and you said it too, but how unique we all are, our gifts, what we've learned in this life and what we come to share, we're all really unique. So our leadership style, if you will, should be unique to who we are.
Totally. When I look back at, and I'm going to call it the curriculum of my life, I look at the things that I was inspired to, or that I had passion for. And even though we've been on the yogic path together, my path is very uniquely different, my curriculum from yours. But yet,
Yes.
and I just think I'm just in awe and wondering. And I think um it's part of why I can call myself leader. And I think I totally respect that's why you can call yourself leader, because we have been true to that internal curriculum. And I don't think anybody out there who's listening to this hasn't been true to their internal curriculum. They have.
Right.
And now
Right.
it's the opportunity to embrace it, to enjoy it, to value it,
And
and
put it out there,
and
right?
yeah,
Don't
whatever
hide it.
way.
Put it out there,
Right.
right?
In your special way. It doesn't have,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be what, again, the traditional concept of what, oh, I have 1 million followers on YouTube or whatever. No, it's,
Right.
oh my gosh, it's those 3 or 5 or whatever amount. It doesn't matter. It's walking through the store and saying, wow, you look adorable today, or thanks for helping me. Today and I've been working with a little bit with this, yeah, flushing out and putting a violet flame around the victim idea, because I bought a new washer and it didn't work this morning, and my first reaction was, I mean, I had a little bit of a victim flame out, like, I can't believe this is brand new and now I'm gonna have to call Home Depot, and I'm like, Lori, stop. You are not a victim. You don't have to agree to any of that. Just pull out the paperwork and make a few phone calls. And the person who I got was lovely, Steven, and he Googled, what the error code was. He's from Home Depot, and we figured it out. I'm like, oh my God, Steven,
All
thank you, thank you, thank
right.
and it was beautiful, and it was another reaffirmation of how life is so much, supporting us and loving us, but we also have to step into our sovereign power, which is, to me, leadership. It's personal leadership. It's owning our vibration. And to me, that's the key. Vibrating as the energy being that we are, that our soul is, and then keeping
Right.
aligning, tuning, calibrating, tuning, calibrating, tuning, calibrating. And when you've calibrated to the internal energy that your soul is, that vibration of magnificence, of love, of unlimited creativity, Ooh, now, now you're sending out rockets of insane help to the whole world. And you're just roaming through Trader Joe's looking for some, something special at the meat counter or whatever. Um,
Right. Or
I
flowers, right?
Flowers, yeah,
Because
pick it
Mother's
up.
Day is coming.
Cheese,
Yeah.
right? Cheese. They've got so many wonderful things. But yeah, and so what my point was, you don't have to be out there, thinking that's what true leadership is. True leadership is walking in your sovereign, beautiful, magnificent self right here, right now, in my
Yes.
definition.
And I would add to that too, and giving everyone permission to do the same.
Right.
There aren't like only five leaders.
No, there's a
Right.
billion. There's a
Right.
billion.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah, we're not a big business world anymore. We're a small business,
right.
individuals, step into your
Entrepreneurship.
power,
Right.
entrepreneurs. Yes. Get
Yes.
out there with
Yeah.
who you are and yeah, honor who you are. And the other thing that think we discover is the more we give ourselves permission to do that, the more we're surprised.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were with fixing your washing machine.
Right.
I had a little story about that too with Chewy, a Chewy order, and I've been having computer issues. And it turns out I opened a new account at Chewy because I spelled my email address wrong. So they opened a new account for me, and it screwed up because I wasn't getting confirmation for my orders and stuff like that because I don't have an email spelled like that.
Right.
And-
Yeah.
but it was,
Right.
you talk to a person and they're so kind and it's so simple and you get it figured
Right.
out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that giving permission, but and I really respect that. And I think that's what you were doing this weekend with your teacher trainees is giving them permission to step into their approach to teaching yoga.
Yes. Don't imitate me. Be
Right.
you.
Be you.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then but I love that you were because I think through the undercurrent of this conversation is the old unquestioned assumptions about what leadership that we were taught. Like there's one, like you said, there's only five leaders.
Right.
No, that's another unquestioned assumption that that there's a handful of leaders and they have these very unique and special characteristics that no one else has, and you've got to cultivate them and all that
Right.
historic stuff that I really think is being asked to be looked at and redefined.
I agree. And I think it's a patriarchal view. And I think
Mhm.
that's starting to collapse as well.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, the men are from Mars, women are from Venus. The Venus approach is a very collaborative, very, together we are better than anyone's individual, and I do think that's the new leadership that's being born is we lean into each other, and through that togetherness, we create something we could have never thought of on our own. And I knew
Right.
that when we were going to talk about this, I was like, oh, I would really love to talk about this. And I'm like, oh, and I can't wait to talk with Trisha about it because it's going to be even more rich and juicy than if I would have done it on my own.
Yeah, one of the things I want to say that you and I are always laughing about is Lori and I take very different approaches, but we always end up in the same place, which is why it's so much fun to talk. Because, right, I'm off doing my thing and she's off doing her thing, but when we light up the same,
Right. And
which
together
is
we light
yeah,
up even more bright. And I think that's the new definition of leadership is the together we become more. And the more we are stepping into our unique sovereignty, the more we are making a huge impact. We are being leaders.
right, and we're doing it in our own unique way. Follow what truly gets you all excited and energized and up at night
Yeah,
writing and
right.
right, yeah, follow that.
And I
There
and I
isn't
and
a yeah.
right. And
The old
calibrate
definition
them.
of leadership, yes, the old definition of leader is out. You don't imitate what you see somebody else do.
Right, right. The CEO of GE or whatever was the old,
Right.
like you said, very masculine, and that's okay. And of course, for men, you do you. But I think that for men too, the definition of leadership really needs to energetically, evolve or update or whatever the right word is, because we're all in this together. And when we all are
Yes.
standing in our magnificence, leading ourselves in our most grand way that we know, we are a force, an unstoppable force, like we talk about from the
Right.
teachings that you do. But I really want to come back to that calibration of your vibration, because sometimes we get caught in those old energetic patterns and we forget that we have a vibrational choice now, and so like you said, when you are in that place of, ooh, I'm so excited, and then you lose energy during the day, that's when we need to recalibrate our vibration back to that I'm going to keep using the word magnificence because it feels so good in my body. That vibration feels really good in my body. And that's the embodiment of the leadership that we're talking about, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's not just a
Yes.
head thing, it's a whole body, vibration,
Right.
radiant.
And again, we're always talking about building that muscle. So notice when you're not magnificent. Notice when you're being small or you're hiding or you're the victim. Just notice that. And I know it sounds so oversimplified, but it is constantly about making a choice. It is
Mm.
constantly about making a choice. And the new science, I mean, the neuroscience says that when we re-choose and re-choose and re-choose to be in this place of magnificence, that becomes the normal.
Yeah, because you're making a neural pathway. You're making a new groove in
Exactly.
your brain. It
Right.
literally creates they have videos of these, thoughts making little, pathways like worms, like worm, paths from one part of your brain to the other. And you do it enough and enough, and it creates a groove. And that groove is a neural pathway. That's a new habit that becomes an old habit, becomes unconscious. That's what we're talking about creating is these new neural pathways.
Neural pathways.
Yeah.
Right. And even, from your heart, going from your heart to your head, that
Oh,
there are
right.
so many links to that, that they've proven now. So yeah, we're not just talking woo woo here. We're actually talking science.
Right. For those of you who need it, of course, I know we all need it because our mind's like, do I believe these two
Right.
nutbags?
Right.
Yes. There's science behind that. But
There is.
and by the way, and I think this is where your discernment might really come in. If you do check in with your heart, you're probably hearing that this does make really good sense. And then our mind goes, yeah, but, and it's another part of this new kind of leadership. It's checking in with your heart first. And
Mm.
I get our minds they're trying to protect us. But, my request to my mind is my heart's asking us to do this. Find a way. Help me find a way. Don't just block me. Help me find a way through this because it must be there.
Yes.
And our souls know the way, the higher wisdoms know the way, the angels and guides that are with us, it's all there waiting to say, okay, here, go this way, go that way. Follow your heart, let your mind help you. That is leadership,
You
truly.
nailed it.
Yeah, it truly is. So it was funny when we first started talking about this, I felt my old definitions kick in, and then I'm like, oh, this is a really good topic. And I was asking myself, what does this have to do with abundance and prosperity? And it has everything to do with it.
Yes. Yes, it does. Because in that leadership role, you're out ahead. You're out ahead of it.
Right. And you get to choose abundance and prosperity. Magnificence, that word at the foundation is abundance, unlimitedness, radiance. It's finding that vibratory word that works for you, of course, is unique, but my guess is when you find it, it's going to light you up in every way. Vitality, health, abundance, joy, grace, it's that you choosing that and deciding to lead yourself that way is going to be reap incredible return, and I think that's what we're all in for, right? The
Yes.
highest living, the highest vitality.
Right. Feeling really alive and, no more shame, no more yeah,
Right,
right. No more victim.
right.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I hope everyone's feeling the opportunity here with redefining your sense of leadership, calibrating what the vibration feels like to you, and giving yourself permission to be uniquely you. Of course. Please,
Yes.
we need you. We
Yeah.
need you out there.
Please, please. Yes. Jump into it. Jump into it.
For
Jump
sure.
into that magnificence. That is you being a leader.
Yes, 100%. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful
All right.
week.
Thank you.
Sending lots of
Bye.
love. Bye-bye.